Hello there guys, it's your Blue Cowan here, back again on another video, and today I'm going to do what if deku was adopted by Mirko, part 6. Hope you enjoy it. So last part, Deku was enrolled into a middle school because Mirko wanted to see how he interact with kids of his age. And from the first day, he encountered some bullies. And they tried to do the classic bully stuff. But Deku is having none of it, so he just gave them the cold shoulder. He wish he can fight back, but he did promise Ryuko and his mom that he will stay out of trouble. Plus, he doesn't want anything on his record, so he directed all his anger at the bullies at his punching bag. Sorry, punching bags. He needed one every couple of days. Then Mirko teaches him a technique that will terrify the bullies. So when he returned to school, two things happened. One, the bullies were nowhere near him. Second, it turned out that Jiro is his classmate. So they talked for a bit, and after lunch, Deku saw the bullies bullying another kid. So he gave them a piece of his mind. And yes, he did use the technique on them. And after he told Jiro that he need to cool off, she told him about the quirk test. And for his quirk test, they gave him a metal dummy that for some reason resembled Bakugo. And he went all out on it. So the bullies realized that if they mess with him again, things would turn out very bad for them, really quick. And after he was done with school and his way to his house, Jiro gave him her number. And she did call him when he was training with Mirko. So she did tease him a bit. And I think that's it with the summary. So let's do something I usually don't do in my video. A like goal. Let's say 500 likes and I will post part 7. That will prove that you guys want me to continue this what if. So with that, let's begin. So a few days went by since last part, and like Deku expected, the bullies were nowhere near him. In fact, they actually changed a bit. They are not terrorizing anyone. So a lot of kids were thankful for Deku, and that made him quite popular, especially with the girls. Well, he's strong because of his quirk, and he's quite built for his age because of his training with Mirko. Plus he's really smart, so a lot of girls will actually want to talk with him or just spend some time with him in general. And sadly for them, none of them were able to. Well, Deku was not an a-hole for them and tell them to just screw off, but he did reject their approach gently, or as gently as he can. It's not like they cannot stay near him or anything. It's just if they got a bit closer to comfort to him, he will gently tell them to back off. And the only girl that he let actually pretty much spend all of his time with him, you guessed it, is Jiro. And everyone, especially the girls, cannot understand why. In terms of looks, she's not that cute. So there is a lot of prettier girls than her that actually want to spend some time with Deku, but he just doesn't care or doesn't let them. And Jiro did hear that, so she's feeling a bit down. And Deku catch on that, so one day, he asked her what's up with the long face. She tried to brush it off and tell him it's nothing, but Deku stopped her and got close to her and tell her or ask her what's wrong. Jiro blushed a bit because he's super close to her, so she tell him about what she heard. Deku raised an eyebrow and tell her, is that it? Why do you still listen to those type of people? They are just jealous. Jealous, she asked him. He nodded. When not so nice people, to put it mildly, get jealous of something they don't have or can't have, they start putting up flaws and insult to cover their jealousy. Plus, you are the nicest girl that I have ever met. So don't sell yourself short, alright shorty? Jiro blush and smile and tell him, you know, for someone that's uncomfortable around people, you do know how to deliver a nice speech. Well, thank you, Deku reply. Don't let it get over your head, alright Greenie? Deku giggled, I won't shorty, don't worry. By the way, what's up with the nickname? Why shorty? Deku tell her, well, you are in a short size, like you told me. And Jiro got slightly annoyed, so she started moving her earphone jacks. So Deku then had to calm down, and when he found another nickname, he will stop using this one. Jiro huffs a bit, and tell him that she will tolerate it for now. Deku just giggled, and that went on for a while. And one day Deku got a phone call. He picked up and it's Mirko. She told him that she will be late than usual. And I'm sorry Izuku, Mom, it's okay, I understand. Just stay safe, alright? Don't worry, I will, Greenie. Deku giggled and hang up. Then Jiro asked him who is it. My mom, Deku replied. She told me that she will work late again. So what should I do for dinner? Well, Jiro interrupted his train of thoughts. She blushed and tell him, you can have dinner with me and my family. Deku blushed a bit and tell her, are you sure? I don't want to intrude. No, it's okay. I just need to call them and tell them that we will have a guest. Alright, if you insist. So Jiro called her parents and she told them about Deku. And of course after they hear Izuku, they ask her is he a boy. She nods and tell her that they will be more than happy to talk to her boyfriend. Jiro turned red and tell them that he's not her boyfriend. And after hearing that, Deku blush. Jiro is a lost word because of what she just said. Her mom only giggled and told her, see you when you get home. So she hangs up and Jiro apologized what she just said. Deku giggled and tell her, don't worry, I understand when parents tease you. My mom always does that to me. Especially after she heard you calling me Granny. Jiro blushed. She heard that? Yeah, Deku scratched back of his head. Her quirk let her hear better, so she overheard our conversation. I see. So I will stay in your house for a bit, huh? Wait, tonight is a full moon, right? Jiro tell him, let me think. Yeah, it is. Why? Oh crap, then Deku started searching his pockets and his bag. Phew, it's here. What's here? She asked him. This, and he showed her the watch. A watch? She tell him. Well, it's not a watch. It prevents me from transforming when it's a full moon. I still don't have control over my quirk, so I need to wear this whenever there is a full moon. I see, she replied. After that we fast forward to the end of the day, and two of them are heading to Jiro's house. In the way Deku called Mirko and tell her that he's going to his friend's house. She tell him, oh, you mean your girlfriend Jiro, right? Deku blush and tell her, it's not like that, I told you, didn't I? Yeah, I heard you, you are just friends. For now. You are such a pain sometimes. Anyway, enjoy your time, Granny, and remember, I know I have the watch. Oh, I was going to say don't have too much fun, but yeah, you should wear the watch. Deku's face completely turned red. Why you? Mirko laughed and tell him, have fun, then she hangs up. Deku sighed and tell himself, she's such a pain. Then he turned to Jiro and she's blushing. He tell her what's wrong, then she tell him, Then she start moving her earphone jack. Deku blush and understand that she heard everything. Then Deku tell her, don't worry about her, she's always like that. Jiro nods, still blushing, and tell him, yeah, like you told me earlier. Parents sometimes can be such a pain. Deku laughed nervously and tell her, true that. Anyway, while we are speaking about parents, I hope your parents will not overpraise me for what I did, right? What do you mean? She asked him. You know, he replied, saving you in a concert. I just did what anyone else would have done. Jiro scratched back of her head and tell him, well, I didn't tell them about what happened. You didn't? He replied. Why? Because they will get worried for nothing. Deku tell her, it's not nothing, you almost got, you know what. Plus, it's their job to worry about you. They're your parents. I know, she replied, but like you said, it can be such a pain sometime. I know, but you need to cherish them, because you don't know what will happen next. And when he said that, Jiro was surprised. For the first time she saw sadness in Deku's eyes. She never thought that she would see that face on him. But before she asked him what's wrong, they arrive at their station. So they walk to Jiro's home without uttering a word. So when they arrive at Jiro's house, they were greeted by her parents. And after exchanging pleasantries, Jiro dragged Deku to her room to chill a bit. So Deku was surprised with the amount of instrument in her room. I thought that you like music but not this much. Jiro blushed and told him to shut it. Deku giggled. Anyway, Jiro, I think you should tell them. They deserve to know. Jiro looked down and told him, yeah, I know, but I don't know how they will react. Well, from my experience, they will scold you a bit, but also they will be glad that you are safe. And they will go a bit easy on you since you did tell them. It will be better than them finding out by themselves. Jiro sighed and tell him, I guess you're right. I will tell them after dinner. But for now, let's chill a bit. It's a bit of odd question, but do you play any instrument? Deku scratched back of his head and tell her that since he got the guitar last year, he was practicing a bit, but I was only doing it when I was alone and I have free time. So basically I am an amateur. Well, better than nothing, so show me what you have. I consider myself decent. Alright, but don't laugh, alright? She giggled and tell him, alright, I won't. Alright, here goes, Deku tell her. So he played a bit, and Jiro was a bit impressed. He did exceed her expectation. And after he's done, he tell her, so what do you think? She replied, well, you are an amateur, but you're above the normal amateurs. Thanks, I guess, Deku replied. Don't worry about it, she replied, and can give you some tips on how to improve. Deku smiled and tell her, thanks shorty, no problem Granny. Then they heard a knock on the door and it's her mom. She tell them that dinner is ready. Deku nod and he exits the room first. And while Jiro is getting out, her mom whisper, Granny, eh? Jiro blush and tell her to shut it. So they eat dinner, and after they're done, they start asking Deku questions, like what is his interest, what he want to do. Deku tell them, I mostly train or fighting, and I think next I want to go to UA. Jiro's father perk up. Really? Koyo right here also want to go to UA. Koyo, Deku reply. Then he looked at Jiro. His father nodded and he pointed at Jiro. Then Deku tell her, and here I thought that you want to become a musician because of how much you love music. Jiro started playing with her earphone jacks and tell him, well, I like music, but I also want to save people. I know my parents both of them are musicians, or her father is. It's just that. Then she looked down. Her father tried to cheer her up and tell her, we did talk about this, right? Whatever you choose, we will support you. I know, Jiro replied, but I feel that I betrayed you guys. I love music, but I also want to be a hero. Then Deku tell her, so why don't you do both? All of them looked at Deku. What did you say? Jiro tell him. You heard me. Why don't you do both? Last time I checked, we can have as much dreams as we want. We have only one shot at his life. So live without regret. Do whatever you want. This is what my mom tell me. Jiro's mom smiled and tell Deku that I can see that you love your mom. Deku smiled, scratched back of his head and tell her, yeah, I'm glad that I have her. So they ask about her. Does she always work away or late? Yeah, most of the times. She's a hero, that's why. They're a bit shocked. Really? What's her hero name? Maybe we did heard about her? I'm sure that you already know her, Deku replied. It's Mirko. The three of them were frozen in shock. Then Jiro spoke up. Mirko, the rabbit hero, right? Deku nodded. Why, is it that surprising? Well, kind of, Jiro replied. Because there is only 10 years between you two. Yeah, about that, Deku replied. She's not my biological mom. She adopted me when I was 10. I see, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Then Jiro's dad asked him about his biological parents. Did they abandon you or something? Nah, sorry bruh, that's another what if. Sorry about that, let's return to the story. So Deku replied, no, they were good parents, I think. You think? Jiro replied. Yeah, I can't remember. With the same look of sadness in his eyes. Jiro put her hand on his shoulder and tell him, are you okay, Izuku? You're looking a bit sad. Deku sighed, looked at Jiro and tell her, yeah, I'm okay. Jiro told him to stop lying. You're clearly not. So what's up? Let it out. Deku looked at her and tell her, do you really want to know? She nods. Deku sighed and tell her, this took place when I was 10, specifically on the night of my 10th birthday, or at least what they told me. I was with my bio family, coming back from somewhere, then we got attacked by a villain, and one thing led to the other. He killed both of my parents, and he hit me with enough force that he gave me a concussion that led to me losing all my memories. Then he looked at Jiro with a sad face, so that's why I can't remember. And the trio are in tears. Jiro hugged Deku and tell him, I'm sorry to hear that, Izuku. Deku hugged back and tell her it's okay. Then they break the hug and tell her, well, Jiro, I think it's about time, don't you think? Jiro wipes her tears and she nods. Her parents are a bit weirded out. Then Jiro tells them what happened in a concert a year ago. And like you guys can expect it, they are a bit pissed that she didn't tell them, but they are mostly happy that she's safe. And they thank Deku for that. Deku tells them to not mention it. Anyway, Jiro, you did say that you want to go to UA, alright? She nods. And I don't want to insult you, but I assume that you don't have any experience in fighting. Jiro got slightly annoyed, but it's the truth. Then she tell him, wait, do you think Mirko can train me? Deku got a bit nervous and tell her, trust me, for your own sake, you don't want to train with her. Her training is a bit of the brutal kind. The only reason I can keep up with her, or to a degree, it's because of my Zenkai quirk. But I can train you if you want. So Jiro accepted his offer, but secretly she wants to spend some time with him. She started to get attached to her green monkey friend. But it's starting to get a bit late, so Deku need to go back home. So he said his goodbyes and he started walking away. Then Jiro's mom tells Jiro, he's a great kid. I'm glad that he's your first boyfriend. Jiro face turned red and tell her that he's not her boyfriend. Yet, her mama replied, yet. Jiro blushed and stormed back to her room. So with that we fast forward a few months. During this time, like he promised, Deku trained Jiro. And he gave her a weak version of Mirko's training, combined with what he learned from other pros. And in exchange, she teach him how to play the guitar. So the two start bonding even more and they start understanding each other. Deku got used of Jiro's weird sense of humor and how always he tried to tease him. And Jiro got used of Deku's always training mentality. So one day Mirko got intrigued about Jiro, so she told Deku to bring her here. Deku got a bit uneasy and tell her, alright, I will, but promise me one thing, don't scare her. Not everyone can keep up with you. Mirko giggled and tell him, alright, I promise. So he called Jiro and tell her, my mom wants to see you. She got a mix of feelings between excited and a bit worried. Excited because she's going to meet Mirko, the pro hero, and a bit of worry because she's Deku's mom. So good luck, Jiro. So after Deku tell her which train station she come to, he come to pick her up, and when they arrive at his house, she met up with Mirko. She was a bit flustered and easy around her, but Mirko tell her to try to calm down. I won't bite. So Deku tell her to sit down and try to relax, and he will start cooking. Jiro looked at him surprised. You can cook? Deku nodded. My mom have a lot of good attributes. Cooking is not one of them. And that led Mirko to smack Deku's head. Don't embarrass me in front of your girlfriend. Both Deku and Jiro face turn red, and Deku tell her she's not my girlfriend. Yeah, I know. So while Deku is cooking, Mirko is having a talk with Jiro. Deku did tell her that he's training her, so let us start. Then one thing led to the other, and Jiro revealed that she know about his past. And Mirko's eyes widen. Really? She asks her. She nods. Why, is it that odd? Mirko nods. He never talk about them to people that he just met. And at that point of time, you two only knew each other for like, what, couple of weeks? Jiro nods. I know some pro heroes that he know for months and he didn't even mention his parents because he's not comfortable talking about them. But with you it seems that he's more relaxed. I guess I was right about the girlfriend part. Jiro blush and tell her it's not like that. But don't you want it to be? Mirko asks her. Well, Jiro's going to reply until Deku cut them off and tell them dinner is ready. So they ate, and Jiro is impressed, so she complimented him. Deku blushed and thanked her. Then Mirko whispered to her, the offer is still on the table, and after hearing that, Jiro blushed. Deku did not hear what Mirko told her, so he asked Jiro if she's okay. She nods and tells him I'm fine. So drop it. Sheesh, alright Wildcat. Wildcat, she replied. Yep, your new nickname. So you choose either this or Shorty. You know you're suck at giving nicknames. Yeah, like Greeny is a good one. Touche, she replied. Then Mirko giggled and told them you two are cute together. And that made the pair blush. So now we have another massive time skip to the day of the entrance exam. During this time, Mirko did offer to teach Jiro a bit. She accepted and she quickly regretted that. Like Deku warned her, Mirko is relentless in her training. Even Deku, that is leagues above Jiro in strength, cannot land a single hit on her. And he's always end up with his face kicked. And Jiro ended up nursing him. So once she told him that you're right, she's a beast in training. Yep, and that is putting it mildly. Deku replied, clearly in pain. Then Mirko tell her that she's impressed. Even though she doesn't have a power-up quirk or a strength quirk like hers, she's decent. Jiro thanked her for the compliment and tell her it's thanks for Izuku. He always encouraged me to do better. Deku smiled and tell her, always Wildcat, always. Damn it Izuku, just ask her out already, Mirko told them. Both of them blush and he told Mirko to shut it. So with that, let's go to the present day. It's the day of the entrance exam and Deku is with Jiro going to the gate. Are you nervous? Deku asks her. She nods, just a bit. Don't worry, he replied. You're smart and you're pretty strong, so don't worry. Jiro blush and thanks him. Deku smiled. Don't mention it, Wildcat. So they start going to the gate. Unbeknownst to them, someone with blonde spiky hair is behind them. And when he saw a familiar green hair, he froze in his place. It can't be. Is he? It's Bakugo, by the way. He started running to catch up to him, but sadly he lost him in the crowd. Damn it, it's been 4 years. I am hallucinating or something? Bakugo started asking himself, but he quickly snapped out of it because he needed to enter. And like the anime, President Mike's explaining the point system, and like the anime, Ida interrupted him. Then Deku commented, this guy needs to relax. He was getting there. And Jiro replied, yeah, let's just hope he will not be in our class. I don't care who will be in my class, Deku replied. As long as you're there, I will be content. And that made Jiro blush. And she told him to shut it. Deku giggled. So they started the theory exam, and Deku pretty much aced it. Remember, he's quite smart. So now it's the time for the practical test. Deku is stretching, readying himself. And he's wearing some weird shoes. They are support items. They resemble miracles, but they are not rabbit feet. They are human feet shape. Then President Mike tells them, are you ready? The gate open and tell them 3, 2. But before they can finish, Deku starts running. Ida starts yelling that he's cheating. Then President Mike yelled back, there is no countdown in a real fight, so start running. So everyone tries to keep up with Deku, but he's already far ahead. He's bouncing from robot to robot, and he's destroying them in the process. And he quickly starts getting points. And in the security room, he quickly gets the attention of the teachers. So she meant to put him out, and he already have 40 points and the others have almost like 1 or 2. And that make Izawa smirk. Then Izu commented, young Sakiyama is going all out it seems. It seems like it, Izawa replied. And All Might get a bit curious. He asked them, do you know this kid? They nod. I did train him a handful of times already. He have a lot of potential, and he is a hard worker. And even though he's a nice kid, he have a bit of a temper. Then All Might smirk and tell him, it's me or it seems you already have a favorite. Aizawa reply, it's not I'm playing favorites. I just know for sure that this kid will be a great hero. And All Might get intrigued, so he keep watching him specifically. And he see that Deku is easily dismantling the 3-point robot. Then he saw him using his tail to grab one of them and throw it at the other. Then he fired a key blast at them. So he asked them what is his quirk. Quirks, Aizawa reply. What? Or might ask in shock. He have 3 quirks, Nizu tell him. He have a stockpile quirk that gave him super strength, super speed, and super durability. Plus he's able to use that power to shoot key blasts. His second quirk is Zenkai. Each time he got hurt and healed from it, he will get a small boost. And the more damage he took, the greater the boost is. And the third one let him transform into a massive gorilla. But he still have problems controlling it. Plus that quirk also gave him a boost in power and speed. But he need to have a full moon to use it. And that leave every teacher in shock, especially All Might. He's mostly intrigued about the stockpile quirk. It's almost like a boosted version of One for All, except the part that he cannot transfer it. Maybe I should keep an eye on him. So with that, let's go back to Deku. He's still dismantling the machines with ease, and soon enough there is no more robots around him. So he flies up and starts scanning the area, and that shocked Aizawa. He can fly now? He was not slacking the past year. I expected nothing less from you, Izuku. So Deku quickly found more robots, so he fly at them, pre-firing some key blasts to get more points. So the teachers decide that's enough and they send a 0-point robot. And when Deku saw it, that's big. And Ken tried to kick it, but what's the point? Then he heard Plasg Mike tell him there is only 1 minute left. So he decided to start searching for more robots, but before he can start running, he heard someone calling for help. He turned around to see Oraka on the ground, and a 0-point robot is going straight at her. And while everyone is running away from the 0-point robot, Deku starts running toward it. He fly at top speed toward the robot face and kick him as hard as he can. He was able to dent it, but not enough to stop it. Damn, this thing is tough. It's better if I get her away from here. So he fly down toward Oraka and pick her up. Of course, he did remove the rubble. He asks her if she's okay. She nods and tells him, I think I have a twisted ankle. So Deku pick her up and tell her to hang on tight. Oraka blushed and she did, and Deku took her away from the robot. He told her to stay here until recovery girl arrive. Then she tell him, what about you? Then Plasg Mike yell, 30 more seconds. Deku smile and tell her, I still have 30 seconds to try something. So he flies up as high as he can, then he starts screaming. His right leg starts glowing with greenish aura. Then he flies down at top speed toward the 0-point robot. And when he arrived in front of the robot, he threw his feet down, a similar way of Luna Fall of Mirko. Let's call it Luna Impact for now, but if you guys have a better name, leave it in comments down below. So when the attack collided, he split the robot face in half, and he went straight through it. Everyone is shocked, and Aizawa is impressed. Deku did listen to him. He did tell him to stop copying his mother and find his own style. And he did. Hashtag proud dad Aizawa. Then something weird happened. Deku realized there is a camera looking at him, so he raises his face at it and smile. And he's clearly very exhausted. This attack pretty much took everything out of him. And the reason he raises his face is for Aizawa. He pointed out that he found his new style, a style that he can call his own. And after that, Plasg Mike told them time is up, so everyone exit the fixed city, and Deku met up with Jiro, so she asked him how he did. Fine, Deku tell her, I think I have above 100 points. Jiro's eyes widen. 100? Then she sighed and tell him, I expected nothing less from you. Deku giggle. And for you, Wildcat, how much did you get? I think about 50 points. That's good, Deku reply, for someone that doesn't have a power-up quirk. I just hope that we will be in the same class. Jiro slightly blushed and she nods. So with that, let's fast forward a week. Deku got his letter and he called Jiro. I asked her if she got hers. She tell him yeah, so they opened at the same time and they found a small black disc and a hologram of All Might pop up. He revealed that he will be a teacher there, and he welcomed both of them to 1A. And for Deku, he's impressed that he got the first place in both exams. Plus, he did have 170 points. Deku was shocked. He knew that he got above 100, but nowhere near 170. So All Might explained about the rescue points and how Deku got 60 because he saved Oraka. Then they checked the list and they found out that both of them are in 1A. So they're happy they are together. And before Deku hangs up, he tells Jiro, see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Greenie. Then they hang up. But unbeknownst to them, somewhere in a house, Bakugo just opened his letter and he saw that he got second place in the practical exam behind a guy named Izuku. His eyes widened and he froze in shock. So his mom asked him what's wrong. She waved her hand in front of him. He snapped out of it and told her to shut up and look at this. She did. She told him, not bad, you get second place. Not that, old hag, read the name above mine. She told him to shut it and start reading. Izuku, it can't be, she yelled at Bakugo. He told her, I don't know, maybe. I did see a familiar green hair when I was at UA, but I lost him in the crowd. So there is a high possibility that it's him. It's been 4 years. What happened to you, Deku? And what's up with this new family name, Sakiyama? and I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Will Deku ask Jiro out? What will happen when he meet Bakugo? Will he remember him? Leave your thoughts in comments down below, and let's try to reach 500 likes. It will show that you guys like this what if and want another part. And if you're new, subscribe, there is more videos like this coming, and like always guys, peace.